Well, hello there. Come on and sit down. I've got something to say to you today, and I don't intend to repeat myself. My name is Martha Rose, and I am 102 years old. I have buried 3 husbands, raised 5 children, and already said goodbye to 2 of them before I ever thought I'd have to. I have lived through things that would make your knees buckle. And I am still here, still sharp, still standing on my own 2 feet, making my own coffee, walking my own yard. Now, I didn't come on here today to brag. I came because I want to tell you something the doctors and the television people and the supplement companies do not want you to figure out. Because the moment you figure it out, they lose money. And they like their money very much. Here's what I want to say right at the start. Every specialist who ever looked at me over the rim of his glasses and told me I was a walking risk factor, every single one of them, has gone on to meet his maker before me. I'm still here watching the sun come up. Make of that what you will. Now, people always ask me. They say, Martha, how do I know if I'm going to live a long life? How do I know if my body has what it takes? And I always tell them the same thing. You're asking the wrong question, baby. You're not asking how long. You're asking how well. Because I have known people who made it to 70 and were already half gone. And I have known people at 90 who were more alive than most 30-year-olds walking around staring at their little glowing rectangles. So today I'm going to give you 7 signs. 7 things that tell you whether your body and your spirit has what it takes to go the distance. Not because I read it somewhere, because I have lived it for over a century. Now listen to me. Sign number 1, you still have an appetite for something. I don't just mean food, though we'll get to food. I mean you wake up in the morning and there is something you want, something you're curious about, something you're looking forward to, even something small. My neighbour Eunice, God rest her, she turned 73 and she said to me, Martha, I just don't really care much about anything anymore. And I looked at her and I said, Eunice, that scares me more than any diagnosis. She was gone by 76. Now they'll tell you that losing interest and drive as you age is natural. They call it a decline in dopamine. That's the word they use, dopamine. That's just a fancy word for the thing in your brain that makes you lean forward in your chair. The thing that makes you reach for something. The good Lord put it there on purpose. He didn't put it there for you to waste it on being bored. The longest living people I have ever known all had what I'd call a reason to get up. My grandmother, Lord, she was something. She was still tending her garden at 88 because she wanted to see what those tomatoes would do this year. Wanted to see it. That wanting is a life force. When it goes quiet, you better do something to wake it back up. What do you lean toward? What makes you nosy and interested? Find that thing and protect it like it's precious. Because it is. Sign number 2, your hands can still do things. Now I mean this literally. Can you open a jar? Can you button your own shirt? Can you carry your own groceries? Grip strength. That's what the scientists call it. And for once I don't mind them saying it because it's true. Your hand grip is one of the most honest things about your body. It tells you about your muscle, about your nervous system, about whether your whole physical structure is holding together or quietly falling apart. And here's what nobody tells you. Grip strength doesn't just happen. You maintain it. You use it. Or you lose it faster than you can imagine. Now they've been telling people for 50 years to rest more. Take it easy. Don't strain yourself. Listen, the people who told you that, they were selling you easy chairs and motorized scooters. I am not interested in easy. I have worked with my hands my whole life, hanging laundry, kneading dough, working a garden. And at 102, my grip is still something. My great-granddaughter tested me. She was surprised. I was not. Use your hands. Work with them. Carry real things. Squeeze real things. Do not let them get soft and idle. That softness spreads. Yes, Lord, it spreads. Sign number 3, you sleep and you actually rest. Now here's where I want to say something that might surprise you. Sleep is not just about hours. I've never been one of these people who counts 8 hours like it's a commandment. Some nights I sleep 6, some nights a little more. But when I sleep, I sleep. What I mean is this. There's a thing the scientists call deep sleep. They say your brain does something during that deep sleep. It cleans itself out, flushes out the waste and the toxins that built up during the day. They have a fancy word for part of this process. Autophagy. Autophagy. That's just a fancy word for your body taking out the trash. Your cells go in and clear out the broken, the damaged, the no-good junk. And a big part of that happens when you're in deep, genuine sleep. Now, my grandmother didn't know that word, but she knew you didn't stay up past 9 o'clock for foolishness. She knew you slept when it was dark and woke when it was light. She knew the body needed silence to do its work. That was wisdom long before any laboratory caught up with it. If you wake up and feel like you've actually rested, truly rested, that is a sign your body is still doing its maintenance work. That's a good sign. If you haven't slept well in years, don't shrug that off. That's your body telling you something. Listen to it. And put away the television at night. I don't care what anybody says. Darkness is medicine. Sign number 4, you can still laugh. Really laugh. Not a polite little chuckle. I mean the kind of laugh that catches you off guard. The kind that comes from somewhere deep and shakes your whole body. The kind where you almost can't catch your breath and your eyes water. Child, please. If you have lost that, something has gone wrong. I lost my second husband on a Tuesday, and by Thursday my sister came over and said something so ridiculous about the funeral flowers that I laughed until I had to sit down. People thought I was losing my mind. I was not losing my mind. I was surviving. That laugh was medicine. It was the Lord saying, "You're still here. Act like it." Now the science on this, and yes, there is science, says that genuine laughter lowers something called cortisol. That's the word they use, cortisol. That's just your body's worry chemical. The thing that tightens everything up, makes your heart work too hard, inflames your joints and your gut and everything else. When you laugh, you release it. You blow it right out of your system, like opening a window. My grandmother used to say laughter is free medicine. She didn't know about cortisol. But she was right. If you can't remember the last time you really laughed, that is a warning sign. Not about your body exactly, about your life. Are you around people who make you laugh? Are you doing things that delight you? Are you allowing yourself to be silly? Silliness is not childish. Silliness is survival. Sign number 5, your gut is still doing its job. Now this is the one they don't want to talk about in polite company, but I am 102 years old and I don't have any patience for polite avoidance of the truth. Your digestion tells you everything. The scientists these days are very excited about something they call the microbiome. That's a fancy word for the little community of things living in your gut, trillions of them, bacteria, and all manner of creatures working together to digest your food, protect you from sickness, and even, yes, affect how your mind works and how you feel, your mood, your energy. All of it starts in your gut. They're just figuring this out. My great-grandmother already knew it. She used to say a sick belly makes a sick everything. And she was right. She kept fermented things in the house always. Sauerkraut. Pickles in a crock, not from a can. A little raw apple cider vinegar in water. She didn't call it feeding her microbiome. She called it common sense. They told my generation that all these old-fashioned fermented foods were unnecessary. That modern food was clean and safe and better. And now they're selling you expensive probiotic supplements in a bottle for $45 to replace what our grandmothers had for free. If your digestion is moving regular and without drama, that's a sign. If things are sluggish, if you're bloated, if something feels always off, pay attention. It is connected to more than you think. Feed those good little creatures in your belly. Real food, fermented food. Fibre from actual vegetables, not from a powder packet. The good Lord made all of it available long before anyone had a laboratory. Sign number 6, you have people you would do anything for. Now we're getting into the territory they really don't talk about in the health articles, because you can't sell this in a bottle. Love, connection, having somebody that matters to you more than yourself, having a reason that is bigger than your own comfort. I have read, and I know people smarter than me have studied this, that loneliness does as much damage to the body as smoking. Think about that. Sitting alone with no real connection, feeling like you don't matter to anyone, feeling untethered, it does physical harm, real measurable harm. Now, I have never been lonely. Even when I was grieving, I was not alone. I had children, grandchildren, neighbours, my church family. I had people who needed me and people I needed. That web of connection, it holds you up. It gives you a reason to keep going when your body might otherwise be inclined to give out. I think about my son, Theodore. He passed at 68, and I think about what drove him toward the end. He had pulled himself away from people. Private man, stubborn, didn't want to need anyone. And that isolation, I believe in my bones, it cost him. The question isn't whether you have a lot of friends. The question is whether you have real ones. Whether you have people you would cook for in the middle of the night if they called. Whether someone knows your name and thinks of you with warmth. Even one person like that changes your biology. I don't need a study to tell me that. I have lived it. Go toward people, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Sign number 7, you are still making peace with things. This is the last one, and it's the most important one. And I want you to really hear me right now. How much anger are you still carrying? How many grudges? How many old wounds that you've kept wrapped up tight and stored somewhere in your chest like old boxes in an attic? Because I'll tell you something. I have outlived a great many people who were smarter than me, stronger than me, had better doctors than me, and ate better food than me. And some of them, not all but some, were eaten alive from the inside by something they never let go of. Old anger, old hurt, a betrayal they couldn't release, a person they never forgave, and they carried that thing like a stone in their pocket every single day until it wore them out. Forgiveness is not weakness. I know people think it is. They think holding on is strength and letting go is surrender. That is backwards. Letting go is the hardest thing a human being can do. It takes more courage than almost anything else on this earth. Now, I've had things done to me that I did not deserve. I have been hurt in ways I won't detail on this camera. I have had losses that broke me open and left me gasping. But I made a decision, and it was a decision, a daily one, to not let bitterness set up residence in my body. Because I believe, and this is faith talking, not science, though science agrees, bitterness lives in the body. It tightens the blood. It troubles the sleep. It dims the eyes. It makes the world smaller and smaller until there's nothing left. Every morning I wake up, I give my troubles to God. Not because I'm perfect. Lord knows I am not. But because I'm not big enough to carry them myself, and I never pretended to be. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. The longest living people I have ever known have had hard lives. Every last one of them. It's not that they were protected from suffering. It's that they found a way to stay soft in spite of it. To keep loving. To keep laughing. To keep being curious about what comes next. That softness and that openness, and that is the thing. More than any diet. More than any supplement. More than any doctor's advice. The people who can grieve and still come back to gratitude. Who can be hurt and still find it in themselves to open their hearts again. They are the ones who last. Now, if you've been sitting here making notes and checking off which signs you have and which ones you're missing, I want you to stop for a moment, because here is the real secret, and I mean this. You are not a checklist. You are not a collection of biomarkers and risk factors and statistics. You are a human being made in the image of something bigger than all of us, and your life has value and purpose that no study can measure. Does your body need care? Yes. Does what you eat matter? Yes. Does how you sleep and move and connect with people matter? Yes to all of it. I have talked about it today because it is real and it matters. But the deepest longevity secret I know, after 102 years, is this. People who feel their life means something tend to live longer in it. People with purpose, with love, with faith, with something still left to do, they hold on. They find a way. So if you're sitting there past 60 wondering how much road you have left, I want you to ask yourself a different question. Not how long, but how full, how awake, how connected. How much love are you still giving and receiving? How much laughter is still in you? How much of you is still leaning forward into the life in front of you? Because a year that you live fully with purpose and love and gratitude, that is worth more than a decade of existing on the sidelines, playing it safe, waiting for something to be over. I have had a full life. A long one, yes, but mostly full. And I am not done yet. I still have things to say, people to love, sunrises to watch. I am still curious about what tomorrow looks like. And that, honey, that right there, is the real sign. All right, I've said what I came to say. Now I'm going to go sit on my porch. The light is just right this time of morning, and I've got a cup of coffee waiting for me that isn't going to drink itself. You take care of yourself, and I mean that from the bottom of an old woman's very full heart.